Have you ever ignored a warning because you thought it was just another old legend? I did, and if I had listened, my life might have turned out very differently. My name is Daniel. For years I worked as a freelance photographer, traveling across forgotten towns to capture abandoned places before they disappeared forever. Old hospitals, empty schools, forgotten factories. Nothing frightened me anymore. Until I found the abandoned train station that wasn't supposed to exist. It all started with a faded photograph I found at a weekend flea market. The picture showed a beautiful Victorian train station surrounded by thick pine trees. On the back, someone had written in faded ink, "Last train leaves at midnight." No address, no date, just those 5 words. The elderly vendor noticed me staring at it. He quietly said, "Don't go looking for that station." I laughed. Why not? He looked straight into my eyes. Because some places aren't abandoned. They're waiting. I thought he was trying to make the photo more valuable, so I bought it anyway. After weeks of searching old maps, I finally found the location. The station had been closed for almost 40 years after a devastating landslide destroyed part of the railway. Official records said no trains had passed through since then. Perfect. Exactly the kind of forgotten place I loved exploring. I arrived just before sunset. The station looked frozen in time. Broken windows, rusted tracks, an old clock permanently stopped at 11:58. Nature had slowly swallowed everything. Trees pushed through cracked platforms. Vines covered the station sign until only a few faded letters remained. It was beautiful, in a sad sort of way. Inside the waiting room, dust covered every bench. Old ticket stubs lay scattered across the floor. A cracked loudspeaker hung from the ceiling. As I took photographs, I noticed something strange. The dust around one bench had been disturbed, as if someone had been sitting there recently. I looked around. No footprints, no voices, just silence. Night arrived faster than I expected. Rain began falling outside. I decided to wait until it stopped. At exactly 11:58, the old station clock suddenly started ticking. 1 second, then another. I froze. The clock hadn't moved in decades. Yet now, its hands slowly reached midnight. The loudspeaker crackled to life. A calm voice echoed through the empty station. "Attention, passengers. The last train is now arriving." A low rumble rolled through the darkness. The abandoned tracks began vibrating. Impossible. There were no working rails, no electricity, no trains. Yet from the thick fog, headlights slowly appeared. An old black steam locomotive emerged without making a sound. It stopped perfectly beside the platform. Its doors opened. No conductor stepped out. No passengers got off. Every window was completely dark. I should have run. Instead, I raised my camera. The moment I pressed the shutter, the camera screen turned black. One sentence appeared. "You're too late." Then the battery died, even though it had been fully charged. A single elderly man stepped off the train. He wore an old station master's uniform. His clothes looked decades out of date. He smiled gently. "You've been expected." I stared at him. "What is this place?" He ignored the question. Instead, he handed me an old train ticket. My name was printed on it. My hands began shaking. "How do you know who I am?" He looked toward the train. "Because every passenger eventually returns." I backed away. "This isn't funny." "I've never been here before." The old man sighed. "I know. Not in this life." Those words sent a chill through my entire body. He led me into the station office. Inside, hundreds of old photographs covered the walls. Visitors, travelers, workers. Every picture had one thing in common. Each person held the exact same ticket. Then I noticed the final photograph. It had been taken decades earlier. Standing beside the station master was a young man. He looked exactly like me. Same eyes, same face, same scar above the left eyebrow. I couldn't breathe. "Who is he?" I whispered. The station master answered quietly. "That was you." "No. That's impossible. He disappeared here 35 years ago." I laughed nervously. "I wasn't even born." The old man slowly opened a dusty ledger. Inside, the name Daniel Carter appeared over and over again. Different years, different birthdays, different handwriting, always ending with the same sentence. "Missed the last train." The station master closed the book. "This station doesn't wait for trains. It waits for people who never finished what they were meant to do." I didn't understand. He handed me one final envelope. Inside was a letter written in my own handwriting. It began with the words, "If you're reading this, you came back again." I felt sick. The letter described moments from my childhood that no stranger could possibly know. My first bicycle, my mother's favorite song, the exact day my father disappeared. Every detail was perfect. The final sentence read, "This time, don't board the train." The whistle echoed through the station. The train doors slowly began closing. The station master looked at me one last time. "You finally remembered." Then he stepped aboard. The train pulled away into the darkness. Seconds later, the fog disappeared. The tracks were empty again, silent, broken, exactly as they had been before. When the police arrived the next morning, they found me sitting alone on the platform. They searched the entire station. No train, no footprints, no station master, no photographs. Only one object remained. The old ticket, with my name still printed on it. The officers dismissed it as an old souvenir. I never told them the truth, because I knew they would never believe me. Months later, I developed the photographs from my camera. Every image was completely black, except the last one. It showed the abandoned platform, the silent train, the station master, and me, standing inside one of the train windows, looking back at the camera. But I remembered taking that picture from the platform, not from inside the train. I stopped photographing abandoned places after that night. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some doors aren't meant to be opened. And some stations never truly close. Even now, every year, on the same date, I receive a plain, white envelope. Inside is only one thing, a train ticket, with my name, and the departure time, 12 o'clock midnight. No return ticket, no explanation, just a reminder that somewhere, the last train is still waiting. Please like, comment, and subscribe this channel to see more heart-touching story. See you in the next video.